Southwest Airlines didn't fail. It was taken apart by a hedge fund that made $1 billion in 18 months and then left. Southwest Airlines worked for 54 years. Then, in less than 18 months, everything changed. Not because the model failed, not because demand disappeared, not because competitors finally figured it out, but because one investor looked at the system and decided it was worth more broken apart than left intact. For more than half a century, Southwest wasn't just another airline. It was something far more unusual, a business model that competitors understood, studied, and still couldn't copy without damaging themselves in the process. No global network, no premium cabins, no complicated fare structures, just a tightly engineered system that removed cost, friction, and complexity at every level. And that system worked, until it didn't. Or more accurately, until it was forced to change. Dallas, 1971. A scrappy airline launched with an idea that sounded almost too simple to succeed. Flying should be fast, affordable, and identical for everyone on board. No first class, no assigned seating, no unnecessary extras. Everything about Southwest was designed to eliminate delay, reduce cost, and keep aircraft moving. At the center of that system sat one decision that defined everything else. The Boeing 737, one aircraft type, one operation, one system. That choice removed layers of complexity that legacy airlines were stuck with. No fragmented pilot training, no multi-type maintenance systems, no scattered spare parts inventories. Instead, everything aligned. Pilots trained faster, crews operated with fewer restrictions. Maintenance became predictable. Costs didn't just drop, they stabilized. And stability in aviation is where the real advantage begins. But the real breakthrough wasn't just the aircraft, it was time. Every minute an aircraft sits on the ground, it loses money. Southwest understood that better than anyone. So they built a system designed to keep planes moving. Open seating wasn't a gimmick, it was a strategy. Passengers boarded faster, turnarounds shortened, aircraft flew more segments per day, more flights, same plane. That's where the profit came from. Not higher ticket prices, not premium upgrades, just more utilization. Bags fly free followed the same logic. Charging for luggage sounds like an easy revenue stream, but it comes with hidden costs. Passengers bring more carry-ons, overhead bins fill up, boarding slows down. Delays ripple across the network. Southwest removed that friction entirely. Faster boarding, fewer gate conflicts, a cleaner operation. Everything connected back to the same principle: keep the system moving. And for decades, it worked. While competitors cycled through bankruptcies, restructurings, and mergers, Southwest stayed consistent. Not the biggest airline, not the most luxurious, but the most reliable at making money. In 2024, Southwest generated $465 million in net profit, without long-haul routes, without premium cabins, and without the complexity that defined every major competitor. That wasn't luck, it was design. Then the pressure started to build. Not from one direction, but from multiple forces hitting at once. Fuel prices climbed, labor costs increased, aircraft deliveries slowed as Boeing struggled to meet demand. At the same time, the stock price stalled. By June 2024, Southwest was trading at around $27 per share. And that is when it caught the attention of Elliott Investment Management. Elliot does not operate like a traditional investor. It does not wait. It moves, acquire a position, push for change, increase the stock price, exit. That is the playbook, and Southwest fit perfectly. By September 2024, Elliot had built a 16% economic stake, enough to become the largest shareholder and exert real influence over the company. The demands came quickly. Board changes, strategic overhaul, leadership pressure. At first, Southwest resisted. Then the pressure escalated. A proxy fight emerged, and that is when control shifted. 6 board seats moved to Elliot. The CEO stayed, but the direction changed. And once the shift began, it did not slow down. It accelerated. What followed wasn't gradual improvement. It was a rapid transformation. Assigned seating replaced open boarding, ending a system that had defined the airline for over 50 years. Bag fees replaced bundled pricing, removing one of the most recognizable elements of the brand. Basic economy fares introduced complexity into what had always been simple. Red-eye flights extended aircraft utilization into overnight hours. Tickets appeared on third-party platforms like Expedia and Google Flights, moving away from direct booking. Aircraft were sold and leased back, generating immediate cash at the expense of long-term cost. Layoffs appeared in a company that had historically avoided them. Individually, every one of those decisions makes sense. Together, they change everything. Because Southwest wasn't built as a collection of independent features, it was a system. And systems don't break all at once. They unravel. January the 28th, 2026. Southwest reported its 2025 results. On the surface, nothing looked catastrophic. Revenue increased 2.2%, but inflation ran higher. Adjusted for inflation, revenue declined. Net profit dropped from $465 million to $441 million. And that is where the gap begins to appear. Bag fees were expected to generate $1.5 billion annually. Actual results came in closer to $1 billion. A shortfall that is hard to explain until you look at customer behavior, because something unexpected happened. Passengers did not adapt. They left. Southwest had built a customer base around simplicity. No hidden fees, no complexity, no trade-offs. Remove that, and the value disappears. Internal estimates tied up to $1.8 billion in revenue with customers who specifically chose Southwest for that model. That revenue did not shift to another category. It vanished. $1 billion gained, $1.8 billion lost. That is not optimization. That is erosion. At the same time, another factor masked the damage. Fuel prices dropped. A 14.5% decline in jet fuel created a cost benefit of $655 million. That tailwind softened the impact. But remove it, and the underlying trend becomes clear. The system was not improving. It was weakening. And while that happened, $2.9 billion was spent on stock buybacks. That was more than 6 years of annual profit returned to shareholders. The operational changes told one story, the money told another. This was not transformation, it was extraction. Now the positioning problem begins. Legacy airlines like Delta and United spent decades building premium infrastructure, lounges, long-haul networks, business-class cabins, and global alliances. Passengers paying more receive more. That's the trade-off. Southwest doesn't offer that. No lounges, no long-haul routes, no premium cabin, no global partnerships. And yet the pricing model started moving in that direction. That creates a gap. Passengers who valued simplicity lost it. Passengers who expect premiums still don't see a reason to switch. Southwest ends up in the middle, and the middle is the most dangerous place to be. Too expensive to compete with ultra-low-cost carriers, too limited to compete with premium airlines, a system without a clear identity, and in aviation that doesn't last. Now look at the timeline. $27 per share in June 2024, $54 per share in early 2026. The stock doubled. December 2025, Elliot begins to exit. By February 2026, the stake drops from 16% to 9%. Board members step down. Influence fades. The strategy becomes clear. Identify value. Unlock it. Return it. Leave. Southwest provided exactly what Elliot needed. A strong balance sheet. Valuable aircraft assets, consistent cash flow, everything required to extract value quickly, $441 million in profit, $2.9 billion returned to shareholders. Value moved out faster than it was created. And now what remains is something different. An airline still operating but no longer functioning within the system it was built on. Assigned seating now defines boarding. Bag fees now define pricing. Third-party platforms now define distribution. The structure changed and the identity followed. What happens next is not guaranteed. Costs introduced during restructuring will continue to surface. Fuel prices will move again. Competitors will adjust. But one point is already clear. Southwest did not change because its model stopped working. It changed because someone with enough influence decided it should. And that difference matters. Because one path is evolution, the other is intervention for 54 years, Southwest proved that simplicity could outperform complexity. Now it is trying to compete inside a system it was never designed for. Southwest did not collapse. It was changed, and the people who changed it are already gone. If you have watched this whole story, thanks for sticking with me. If you enjoyed it, hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.